Sir, we are live now. Please start.
Okay, thank you. Hello and welcome everyone. Good afternoon, good morning, wherever you are. It's great to be back with a session for technology forecasting for strategic decision making. Thank you so much for completing the course, watching the videos, asking us very thought-provoking questions on the forum, and many of you have even registered for the exam. So this is a special edition mainly aimed at people who are going to be taking the exams, but we will also try to cover people who have questions and who are still wants to know what's next and all that. And we will talk about that in the coming next hour or so. So it's great to be back here. With me, of course, I have two other people. Say hello, Siddharth and Dmitry for people.
Hello learners, welcome back to our last live session for this course. Hoping to hearing from you, hoping to seeing good questions from you in the live chat.
Okay. Thank you very much to be present in our live session. This is the last live session. I'd like to say you hello from Strasbourg, from France. We are here in order to help you to succeed with your exams or to succeed with your interest about technology forecasting in particular. Because today, even with a lot of changes that we are witnessing today, we need to have a bold idea where are we going. And when we have no forecast, we cannot choose where to go safely and successfully. So I believe that today we will have an interesting question altogether.
Okay, thank you so much, Professor Dmitry and Siddharth, our friendly teaching assistant for the course. So, Siddharth, what do we have today in store for the day? What shall we start with?
Since it is a season of examinations, all our learners are very eager to know how this examination is going to be, what are the kind of questions they might be facing in the examination, what is the question paper pattern. If you can run us through quickly about this examination thing, that would be really helpful to all our learners. Sir.
Sure, sounds like a plan. We'll do exactly that. So what I have is going to be the presentation on what the exam looks like, what the paper they can expect, all that coming in a short while. Just give me a minute while I share the screen so that you can see for the just a second. I'm just fiddling around with these controls here. Okay, yeah, got it. So, so what we have is a very quick curtain raiser on the final exam itself. So, as you probably know, many of you may know this, is 25% of the weightage of your final marks will be from your assignments, four assignments that you finished in your the last 4 weeks of the course, the total 4 weeks of the course, and 75% to this final exam. This is a proctored exam that you will have. You'll receive an exam center near, hopefully close to where you live and where you can easily access. And it will be proctored by people there. NPTEL, personnel will be, the representatives will be there. So you can take the exam. It'll be entirely computer based. There are no writing stuff needed for our exam. They're all multiple choice questions or multiple select questions. So often at this point of time, we are asked the question, so what does the final exam paper look like? So here is a little helper that will help you out. Okay. So first of all, the exam, like I said earlier, it carries 75% of weightage towards your final marks, your certification marks. 75% of that is going to come from this. Okay. Okay, suddenly there's a lot of pressure on you. Don't worry, because the first two sections, which is 50% of, say, let's say 100 marks is in this final exam, 50% of that is coming from questions based on your assignments 1, 2, 3, and 4. So 50%, you need to go back, look at the videos, look at read the notes, and look through the assignments or what all there are, and you would have enough, you can build enough confidence in yourself for getting these 50%. Okay, now what goes on with other 50%? So typically how we approach this at NPTEL is 50% is what is called recall based. So whatever we have covered in our videos, it'll be a recall based. So what is that? How is this? What is that? So that kind of a question, very let's say like I said, recall based. Okay, what is the second half of the exam going to be? It is going to have some case studies, what we call the application oriented questions. Okay, so we will present to you 4 or 5 cases on which we will ask you subsequent questions. Okay, if you've taken other NPTEL courses, this is very, very similar, nothing drastically different from those. But if you're taking exam on NPTEL for the first time, this is probably new to you. So we are here to give you that explanation. Okay, so 50% of that in 4 or 5 case studies. Now, what do I mean by these case studies? Very help is on its way. So here is a question paper sample question. Okay, sample question. This is not going to come in your exam. So if you don't get your hopes too high, though, this is just a sample question. So I'm going to read it verbatim. You can, of course, pause this video and read it yourself later on if you are watching this not in live but the recording. Then you can pause it, read it at your leisure. Tarun is the vice president of a large company specializing in appliances. Machine used for manufacturing process X is under his purview. This machine is due for renewal of maintenance contract. He contacted you for your counsel on this business decision. So you are the technology forecaster. The maintenance contract is to be renewed for a period of 10 years and is a lot of money for the company. This renewal contract, that is. Tarun is wondering if the technology behind this contract will indeed be around for 10 years. So if it outlasts 10 years, then it's a good investment. If it doesn't, then it's money down the drain, at least according to Tarun. Your job is to help Tarun out with this decision. Okay, with your knowledge of technology forecasting, you kick off the project. Okay, answer the following question with this case in mind. So this is typically how the starting of a case is going to be in your case-based section, which is the last section of your paper. The follow-up questions will be like this. So this is a contract. So based on that, what among these questions constitutes a question for technology forecast? Which means you should know what a technology forecast looks like. Okay. The second question is, after formulating the question, you start plotting out the S-curve of the process. Okay. Is this the right thing to do? Okay, that's the next question. Third question is, in performing the system operator operation, you don't seem to have the information to construct the subsystem box, as I call it. You decide to contact experts in the field. What information should you be asking the experts? Okay, so these are 3 example questions from the sample case that I just showed you. Okay, so the answer to the first one is, which technology will be used in the manufacturing process X in India in 2031? Okay, so the point to note would be that this is a what, and this is a when, and a where. So all these 3 elements are present in the question, which is what we look for in a question for technology forecasting. Okay. And the second question is, after formulating question, you start plotting out the S-curve. Is that the right thing to do? Have we said that? No. The answer is really no, because you need to be doing so many other things before we get on to the data acquisition process itself. So the answer is definitely no. This is not the right thing to do immediately after formulating the question. The third question is in performing the system operator, what do you need to construct the subsystem box? So if you have seen the video on system operator, you will know that the subsystem consists of components that make up the manufacturing process X in the machine. So that information is what you would be asking your expert. So those are 3 questions. There's one more question, and that is when fitting the S curve. So 3 parameters: dt is 9.4 years, tm is 2019, k is 100 million units. So refer to the video on S curve to know what these parameters are. Dt is the span of exponential growth, t is the midpoint, and k is the limit of the growth itself. So what is your conclusion about the original question of forecast? So this is what would Tarun basically conclude from this whole thing? Or you as a consultant or a tech forecaster will go tell Tarun what do you think of what's going to happen? So you would say no, the technology in process X would have reached the end of exponential growth in India by 2024 because the span is 9.4 years, which means it started in 2000 and the midpoint is 2019, which means the process X started in 2015, and so it's going to end in 2024. So which means it's not a good idea to invest in the annual maintenance contract. Okay, so this is a little tough problem. The reason it compared to what I remember we gave you in the quiz, the exam, but it will prep you for what sort of information, what sort of a case you will be looking at. This is a sample again. This is not going to appear as is in the final exams, be it the afternoon or the morning slots. Okay. So that's pretty much what I wanted to cover. If there are any questions on these, also we would love to hear from you if you want to ask us specific questions in this or any other topic in general with tech forecasting itself. We'll be happy to hear from you either on the chat or any other way, or on the discussion forum if you're watching this as a recording. Okay, over to you, Siddharth. I am done. I hope that answered many questions that our exam participants would have.
Definitely, sir. Definitely, the question paper and the entire pattern looks very interesting, and since it's application based, I'm hoping our learners would be more eager to answer these type of questions. So moving on to our next question, I would like to ask Professor Dmitry on behalf of our learners again. Imagine I've completed this course, I've taken the examination, I've passed the examination. To me, as a technology forecaster, what is there in the future for as a subsequent part of this course? Where should I look after this course in terms of technology forecasting, Professor Dmitry?
Okay. Yeah. Thank you, Siddharth. Within this course, we tried to share with you some models, and we gave you some examples. Okay, and just in order to make you sure that to predict future is possible. But in real case, after introductory course, of course, we are delivering the advanced course, and within such advanced course, the teaching learning is based on your projects. In fact, what we are doing with our students, we ask them to bring their forecasting question and try to build a forecast which will support strategic decision. But let us make a bit clear about strategic decision, because today we have a lot of tools which can predict on the operational level, like, for instance, to predict the demand in order to plan production and delivery within a week, within a month, even within a half of the year. Okay, there are a lot of tools which predict what will happen in 10 years. Okay, but this is another thing. This is more like a vision. What we are doing in border of students project, when we follow those projects and we apply the models that we shared with you for your cases, Okay, we try to predict what will happen within 3 to 5 years, because the strategic decision usually they are, for most of the technologies today, they have a time horizon from 3 to 5 years, not more. If you ask, for instance, the practitioners from company, are you interested to know what will be in the 10 years? Most of them, they are not interested at all. If you ask people from company sides, the decision makers, are you interested to know what will happen in 3 months or at the end of this year? They already know. They say, okay, thank you, we already manage. But what really happened that we are very often make some errors within a distant 3 to 5 years. So that's why for our students, how do we organize it practically? We build a group of 3 to 5 students, okay, not more than 5, but not less than 3, which is a common topic to forecast. We transform this topic into forecasting question. We make clear what kind of decision has to be taken, and we run this project until end. Okay, for instance, such a course can be shaped within 60 academic hours, and usually this is in a master program course. And what is interesting to see from my former students, that many students that run such a project, after that they were more conscious to start their startup, and they're more successful with these activities, because they decided what to do and what not to do according to the forecast that we built within advanced course for forecasting. Thank you. This was my trial to explain what's next.
Wonderful.
Can be next.
Wonderful, Professor. That sounds really interesting. I do have one question from learners who have posted here. I'll share that on my screen so that you can answer it from learners.
Yeah.
So the question is,
Is technology forecasting also necessary for students and employers, like in choosing the field in which they want to make career? The knowledge in the tech, which is going to be obsolete in future, may not help you financially in the future, and may not be known. Yeah. This is very nice question. Who is going to start, Bala? You or me?
Yeah, you could go, and I can chip in after.
Yeah. Probably you will add something. Yeah, this is exactly the critical question to be answered, because what happens often, the people learn about different forecasting technology. When they come back to practice, they just forgot about it. Okay, they say, okay, now I guess what will be, and according to that, I will use my intuition. And what is statistically proven that in 97% intuition doesn't work properly for the strategic decision. Why? Because intuition works very well for operational decision, because intuition was shaped by evolution for survival. Okay, when strategic, this is a success in the long term. So yes, the technology forecasting is necessary not only for decision makers, but for the students, first of all, to take decision in which direction to go. To go to the technologies which now on the full speed of development, or to go to the direction which today looks like not so promising, but the technology forecast can answer, will it be promising in 5 to 10 years? Like in choosing the field in which they want to make career. Absolutely. This is strategic decision. In which direction you are going to make your career. For instance, in my case, I was, with my diploma, I received the degree of mechanical engineer. Okay, but just 2 years later, I focused more on innovation. Okay, how to solve inventive problem solving, because it was clear that as a mechanical engineer, okay, we have a lot of job to do, but a lot of solution has to be done for the problem. So, but here we are talking not only knowledge about technologies, which are going to be obsolete, but knowledge what will happen in society and what will happen in the environment. Because today, for instance, our main challenge is how to keep the level of life, the quality of life, by spending less natural resources. And this question has no answer up to now. Because all we know how to keep our level of life, level of education, level of health, and level of wealth, this is very expensive methods. We are now facing with a situation that we need to reinvent this. So when we look to the future, we are not looking just technological future. We are also looking social, economic, and environmental all together. And it is useful to my personal experience, to experience of my students and colleagues of mine that you can see right now around the table. Bala, can you add something?
Sure. So this is a classic, question of, do I choose my career or do I switch to a career which seems promising? So this is often the question that we have also faced and we are continually facing. My answer to that is, I think we may have heard this at some point of time or the other. That is, so somebody was hungry and somebody came along, so the other person came along and gave them a fish, and that kept the person's hunger away for a while. But then at some point, the person receiving the fish said, "Why don't you teach me fishing? That way I'll be able to stay hungry, not stay hungry and be self-sufficient on my own." So this is what we say. So do you want to let other people dictate to you what technology is going to survive or not, or you're going to try this out and figure it out for yourself, or do you want to know how to find out which technology is going to stand the test of time, and then use other people's inputs as data, as something that we feed into this and learn about what's going on. So this course is entirely to make this decision wiser. In fact, if I remember right, Professor Dmitry started off one of the first few videos with this topic, this exact question as the topic itself, where he says the strategic decision to be made is, what education career do I choose as a student? And then there are these options. And so that's how the whole video even started. So I was quite intrigued as to how is he going to make the connection. At the end, he does make the connection as to saying that you acquire these. This is also a skill to be acquired, as to saying that which technology is going to stand the test of time, which is going to actually take you forward. And I agree with this person who has asked the question. I think it's a clever question. Is the financial independence is what we look for, and a choice of this particular technology is going to help us with that. And if you know, and if you can perceive from inputs and with the methods that we've talked about, we certainly can make an informed decision. I'm not saying the right or the wrong decision, but at least the informed decision. So that's our attempt at in this course also. It's not only for companies and what goes on inside a company or anything. It can actually help with people like students and employees in their careers as well. It's the method that is important. So that's my my add-on to what Professor Dmitry already covered. So Siddharth, do we have any questions for us?
Just a second, Bala.
Yeah, please.
Yeah, because I listened carefully what you said. Very, very interesting. But in the same time, I read carefully the question, and I found out some keyword in this question: to be successful financially. Okay, and just to give you idea. In fact, we can learn from people who are by themselves successful financially. Okay, at least we can listen to them. We cannot learn a lot from them because they experience in the past. Our experience will be different. But what is nice that we can learn what they are saying, because they are not always saying stupid things. Okay, in this case, for instance, I'd like just to suggest for your attention the character, if you like a Bill Gates. Okay, the Bill Gates kind of interesting person because most of us using computer with a Windows operation system, which was developed with a high participation of this man who made a lot of contribution to build what we know today, the personal computers and the environment. What is interesting to see that this man in 2015, he predicted, he alarmed the situation with pandemic that we are witnessing today. So that's why by seeing several kind of prediction, which was reliable one from this man, I start to listen to him more carefully. So that's why I'd like to suggest for your attention the book which was published at the beginning of this year from this man, the Bill Gates. He published the book that he prepared, and the title of the book, How to Avoid a Climate Disaster, the Solution We Have and the Breakthrough We Need. In this book, he just not only showed the data, but he showed also what kind of solution we need. To me, if you are forecasters and if you are interested really to know what will shape future technology, this is kind of unavoidable book to put your hand on in order to be successful financially, because we know that this man is still successful financially. This was my trial to go a bit in deep in the question. Thank you.
Thank you, professors, for that answer. I do have another question from our learners.
Yeah. Particularly can be used in technology forecasting. Okay. Who is going to start? Bala? Are you going, or it's me who is going to start?
Yeah, I could start. So the question is, can patent information in a particular area be used in technology forecasting? If yes, then please explain how patent information in a particular area can be used in technology forecasting. Yes, the answer is definitely a yes. So the thinking is that I don't know. Again, I'll date it. I mean, bring your memory back to the video on invention versus innovation, right? So this is a topic that Professor Dmitry likes, and he presents it very well. So you should definitely check this out. So in that, we really talk about in depth as to how you can actually see that so many patents, so many ideas, so many inventions. Ideas become inventions. Inventions, not all of them, and how long does it take to actually become an innovation? So there are nuggets, there are clues in all this. Okay, so definitely lots of companies also do this practice of looking at patent information, although it's very tough to read and follow unless you've been following it for a while. But there are a few tips that you can learn from lots of people. Like, for example, I learned from Professor Dmitry, is that the background of the invention has information on what is the current state of the technology and what is the problem that they are facing, and that's usually written by somebody who's a practitioner. Okay, you will get a lot of information on that part alone, and that can educate you so much about the current technology and the state of the art, because they have to do a state of the art, which is the current state of affairs with respect to that technology. So that's something that you can pick up from patents. What is the problem that is being currently faced by and which is what they're addressing through their patent? Okay, so that is something that, again, you can pick that out in the back. It's in the first paragraph of the invention. All patents, I think, all patents have that information, and it's written very well in a short way. And if you have reasonable knowledge of the technology, reasonable, I mean, you will be able to pick things up. Okay, but some of them are very involved because technologists get into a lot of detail, but mostly you should be able to figure things out. Okay, that's one place where you can find information. The second, if you can sift through the jargon and the legal language in the claims, then there's some information there. If you're a patent analyst or a patent agent, you will be able to pick that out. But that's usually requires years of training and years of experience looking and reading and drafting those patents. I would advise that I don't go into that. So let me give you that background in the invention is where I am at. Another nugget of information that's available for you is the citations. Like in a research paper, in a journal paper, they usually cite other ideas, other inventions, which tell you that where is the derived work from, where have they derived these ideas from. So that's something that will give you a reasonable idea of what all is going into this idea, what all makes this invention the way it is. Okay, so that gives you another clue. Not a sure shot like the background of invention, but this one gives you some kind of clue into where the field is also going. So they would have cited a few patents, some of them their own, some of them their competitors, some of them the best in the arena. So those are some things that will help you. Okay, now these are all still very qualitative to get you towards understanding the field alone. So that's what I would say. It's not a foolproof sure shot way to do technology forecasting using patent information alone, but it gives you some idea of what's going on if you're unaware of the technology, you want to get started with something. So that's my trial at answering this question. Dmitry, over to you, Professor Dmitry.
This question is not brand new. This is the first. This is the first thing that I would like to say. Personally, I started to work with this question in 1989. Okay, and there is an answer: yes and no. Why yes? Bala, he clearly present you why it is yes. But I like just to say that we have to be conscious about what does it mean patent. The main idea of patent is not to present you information, but the main idea of patent to protect the rights of inventor or company, corporation. And those document was designed, the main function of the patent, not to describe the invention, no, to protect invention on the market. So that's why when you look to the information about patents, first of all, you need to keep in mind that this does not serve you the question what will be next, but it serves you the question what company try to protect. So for your curiosity, if you like, for instance, you can see what was patented by Apple before iPhone appeared on the market. And when you watch on it, you can see that it is very hard to use patent information for technology forecasting. Because usually when we are talking about forecasting, you need to be capable to predict what will happen in 3-5 years. That's it. And what we did, for instance, in Board of Inventive Machine project that I participated at the beginning of 90s, we forecasted what will be the next patents. Yeah, it works. You can forecast what will be the next patents. Another point, don't forget that for the point of their competitiveness and advantages on the market, the companies, what they do often the patent umbrella. And within this patent umbrella, they don't tell you what will be their main idea that they will put on the market, but they put the umbrella to protect it from all the side. And sometimes the company, rich company like Samsung, IBM, and others, they make kind of fake patents. What does it mean? They make patents in order to mislead their competitors, because the competitors look and they say, they're working on this direction, and they try to dig in this direction. And in the same time, the company, they go another direction in reality. So that's why please be careful with using patent information. Okay. In our case, I suggest to my students try to not use the number of patents as an indicator about technology forecasting. To use number of patents, it's not the best idea. We need always try to understand what company try to protect. not what they are going to disclose, because they are not going to disclose anything in the patents, once again, because the patents, those are the technical system to protect intellectual property, not to disclose it. Well, this was my kind of addition to what Bala explained. Of course, it can be useful, but with caution. Thank you.
Yep. So that is the last question we have in our live chat.
Yeah.
Hoping Professor Dmitry has a presentation to show, maybe.
No.
No, we are very efficient today. Look,
Okay. Yeah.
we already within 36 minutes we answered all the questions, explained what is going to be next, what are going to be exams. It's a good idea.
Yeah. So,
Okay. I would say if there are no further questions, we can call it a day and wish people luck for best of their abilities to sort of get through the exams. And if any questions they have, for people who are watching this recording, also if you have any questions, we are always on the phone. I mean, not always, between the three of us, we somehow with the time zones we will cover it up, and with our sleeping habits we will cover the 24/7 hour cycle somehow. Okay, so that's my suggestion, is to post the questions on the forum. If you have any further questions, you can watch this video. There was a sample question for people who joined this meeting late. There is a sample question that will give you some hint into what the exam is going to be. So as always, don't hesitate to ask questions. Again, this is the last time we're going to meet for this time. And we are hoping to do two things. This is the hope. One is that in the future, a very near future, that we will have a workshop, and this a lot of things have to align, but we will try our best to get a workshop, because Professor Dmitry, Siddharth, and I believe that knowledge like this has to be applied to retain and get your own views on what the subject matter really is. So which is why we want to have an actual workshop where we will take up a technology in the workshop. It will be a 3-4 day long workshop where you will be totally immersed into this, and you will get to work, and we will guide you throughout these 3-4 days on different stages of technology forecasting that you have seen. So that's point number one that we are working towards to make it a reality. The second point is that we have internships that we would like to offer to. This is only for students. If you're a student in a university or a college, this is going to be open. You have to apply through NPTEL, and you have to be one of the toppers in the exam. So, which is another reason why you should do very well in the exam as well, so that you can be considered for this top-notch internship in collaboration with a few universities that we are in talks with. So this is going to be a very exciting project that Professor Dmitry and I and Siddharth as well are trying to get our hands on and see how to make this reality. So we will definitely seek out your help in making this a technological solution for technology forecasting. So that's my second announcement, which leads me to a third one too, which Professor Dmitry already talked about, which was the advanced course, and that's going to be our long-term prediction. That's not right away, but if you are interested in it and would like to express that, please use the forum or reach out to any of us, and we'll be happy to take that request and start. That will give us motivation to start working on the advanced course of this one as well. So thank you so much for all your queries and participation in this live session. I had a ton of fun, and I had learned a lot from this exercise. Thank you, Professor Dmitry. Thank you, Siddharth, and of course the NPTEL media team and the NPTEL team at large for making this happen. Thank you so much. Any words, Professor Dmitry and Siddharth? Professor Dmitry, next. Any words from you?
Yeah, I would like just to thank you, Bala. Almost nothing to add, but I would like just to add. We are still curious. We are still curious about results of exams of our students. Okay, we wish you best exams possible, but we are curious to know what you learned from our course, and we wish you good luck within exams. Yeah.
Wishing you all the very best to my friends, and please feel free to write on the discussion forum in case you have any queries related to your subject or examination. We'll respond to you as soon as possible, and good luck to your future, and hope to see you again in the advanced course of technology forecasting as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Okay. Bye.
Ciao.
Bye, everyone. Bye. Bye. Bye.
Ciao.
Bye. Ciao.